We sort of pause in the middle there of this demo just to go on to the next section, just to break up the video a little bit. So we're next going to work in the employee controller, right? We've got everything in the employee account so we can actually subscribe, capture the subscription, and so on. All right, so in the employee, right here in the index at the top, for some reason, I think I just accidentally left it out of my copy-paste file, but what we want to do as well is we do want to here also in our employee admin view model, okay, we have our number of push subscriptions, right? So we do need it. We notice we are including the subscriptions, so we just need to do that count in order to actually display how many subscriptions the employee has if necessary, right? Okay, and we're going to go along with the change there to the actual index view. So this is the employee index. And then basically at the end of each row, I actually had code here already to, right, if the number of push subscriptions was greater than 0, to display a button you could click. Notice it goes to a new controller we haven't added yet, web push, the send action to actually send a notification, right? Okay, the other thing is I'm using different styling here. This first link is set up to look like a button, okay? And the next one just looks like text. So to be more consistent in my copy-paste file, I've modified things so that they at least look a little bit more alike rather than different, right? Okay, so I'll just replace this whole, might get rid of the text center. I'm not quite sure. I might modify that more later, okay? So now they both will look like buttons. Notice I'm using a little icon here in front of notification. I think this one looks like a little bell, but you could try some of these. One looks like a cell phone with an arrow pointing towards it, and there's different ones you can play around with if you want to. I always have fun mucking around with emojis and things like that. All right, so that's all we have to do for the index itself. So the idea is that the index will know if there are subscriptions, give us a button to click if we want to test sending a subscription, a push notification to a given subscription or a given employee and all of their subscriptions. All right, now we actually need to be able to send push notifications. So as we said, we need a new controller called web push, right? So let's go and add that now. We'll add a new controller. Again, I'll just make it empty. And I'm going to call it web push controller. Oh, there you go. I highlighted it and I never copied it. Web push controller. Okay. Now, maybe the first thing I'll do here is, of course, I want to add authorize. Right? I'm going to have it set so only admins can do this. Only an admin can actually send a push notification. So what do we need in the constructor here? Well, obviously we do need to talk to our database, right? And we also need our configuration, okay? Because the database is where all the subscriptions are stored, and we need the vapid values, vapid keys. So we need our configuration as well. All right, now the index itself, we're not going to need it, right? So I can just redirect back to the employee index. That's what makes sense to me. All right, we are going to add a get and a post for send. That's really all that this is here for, right? Our get and our post for send. Oh, I think I've got one too many. Yeah. Okay. All right, there we go. So the get for send will just obviously give us our send view, right? So we get from the employees, including subscriptions, but we're just the one employee, right? We're filtering for just the one employee. Return view employee. Then we come back, we post here. We'll pass the ID, and we're also going to have a summary, a string for a summary comment, right? We're going to go right to the form, the request, and grab the payload. Now, you'll see in a minute what that is just to show you, it's for demonstration purposes, how we can take code and generate JSON form of the information entered on a form itself, right? We'll go and we get our subscriptions, we get our values for both our public and our private Vapid keys, and then we just go through all the subscriptions that the employee has. We create a new push subscription object, okay? This is coming from that NuGet package that we installed earlier. We get our Vapid details, right? And you can replace this with a more appropriate email address, of course, as you actually run this out into production. Then we get our web push client, okay? And we call send notification based on the push subscription, the payload that we passed in, and the Vapid details, right? Don't worry, we'll get to a more realistic example of doing a push notification in the next learning moment. But this is a kind of a fun demo to see how we're putting this together. All right, so that's basically it. Of course, if there's an exception, we'll give some feedback here. We're using temp data because we're going to go back, right? We're going to redirect back to that details view, and we want to show the information there, right? If we're successful, we'll say how many, we sent notification to so many subscriptions for the employee, etc., etc. Okay, so that's the controller. Of course, we need the actual view to go along with that, right? So pick either one, get or post, doesn't matter. We'll add view. Okay, there we go. All right. So basically this view is based on the employee model, right? Send push notification to all the subscriptions for the employee. We have our two inputs here, a title and a message, okay? And then down here, we're actually, this JavaScript is basically building the payload, right? The JSON form of the message itself that we use for the actual push notification. Don't worry, you don't actually have to do that manually, but we're doing it just so we can see it and have some fun with it. I think we're ready. I'm going to give her a try. Can't even remember what browser I'm set to use at the moment. We'll see in a moment when it comes up. Okay, so here I am in Chrome. I can log in. I can use the admin account. That's fine. So remember Gregory House, that was set up for the admin at outlook.com. That's the employee that we generated. Okay, sure. No. Okay. So Gregory House, that's the account we set up for admin. I'll just fill in that, and there we go. So here is that one time only, right? It checked, hey, do we have Vapid keys yet? No. Okay, so notice we went to employee account, generate keys, right? So here we are. It has generated the keys for us and given us in this nice, easy copy-paste format, okay, the two Vapid keys themselves. So I can copy this, get out of here, come down to app settings JSON, and I'm going to replace this section, okay, with the actual values that were generated. So these are our unique values. I don't have to change them. You obviously could if you ever wanted to in the future. And now that I've done that, I'll never see that page come up again as long as there's a value here, right? So I could actually remove it if I wanted to, or you could leave it there if you don't mind it, you know, taking up a bit of room. It's not like you're going to actually see it anymore. Let's run again. Okay, so now when I log in, right, notice I didn't get redirected here because I filled out the profile. If I hadn't finished filling out the profile, I would, that's why, if I hadn't, I would have come here automatically. So here we are. Here's our employee account details view. Notice not yet subscribed to push notifications. So here's my new notification on this device. Notice the number is set to 0. So if I click this, then we come here to the push view, okay? Notice our employee ID is my ID. Now, These values will automatically become populated once permission are given by the browser, right? So down here, notifications, okay? Yep, it's set to allow notifications, so that's good. I don't want to reset. That's fine. Just checking that it's there. Subscribe. There we go. You so notice it very quickly filled out those values, and then in JavaScript it did the submit action. So now you see number of subscriptions 1. So now Gregory House, admin at Outlook.com, is subscribed in Chrome to our application. Now I can, if I click this again, I get a chance to see, right, what those actual values are in case you wanted to. But the point is they were filled out, then it posted back. So if I look in the database, I'm going to see these exact values for this subscription, right? And notice it says currently subscribed to push notifications. Okay, all right. There we go. So now I'm subscribed. So let's just see. If I come down here to maintain employees, right, there's my new button that shows up, okay, because this particular employee is subscribed. So I can click that. Let's actually make a message. Have a great day, Greg, right? Okay, so I can click send push. There it is. There's my message showing up. This is a new message. Have a great day, Greg. There's my little icon that I added for it and so on. And notice I get this feedback, sent notification to 1 subscription for Gregory House. That's it. Basically, that's the end of this demo.